Vampire a Requiem for London. In a small twist of fate, instead of the regular hostess, Blair Starling, it is in fact Balthazar Coldmorn, acting as Keeper of Elysium this night. Hosting court at none other than his own personal casino, Les Ambassadors. A large, well-off cocktail bar and restaurant and casino based in a Victorian townhouse just off of Green Park on the south end of Mayfair. As everybody enters, would Coldmorn like to define how his Elysium appears to the attendees of this grand event?
Sure. So, as you step through the large doorways of Les Ambassadors, the first thing that you notice is obviously there's quite a lot of security outside, as in more than would be normal for just another night as even a high-class establishment. You will be brought into the main reception area. All the kind have been cleaned out for the evening, so it is rather exclusively for kindred usages. All of the floors and the gaming tables have been made available. The only individuals here are croupiers and other individuals who would be in the quote-unquote know. You are invited to partake in the blood doles that have been laid on. Many of them are quite beautiful and lovely. There is a small section upstairs that's been roped off for an official tasting for the Invictus at some point later on in this particular evening. Everything this evening has been given a very Baroque French twist. So think the style of the high Louis the Sun King kind of turn. So before the ravages of the French Revolution, and that is the physical kind of motif. So you see a number of very very fine paintings have been hung on the walls in that kind of style. The staff are dressed in, as I said, the kind of the garish fashion of the day. And food and drink have been laid on of the finest caliber and variety that money could buy. So you are sipping wine that even in often in some kindred cases are older than they are. And everyone is encouraged to enjoy themselves and to have a pleasant time. Yeah.
Noteworthy attendees are the sheriff of East London, Mort Kozlova, a scion of the Invictus, and a Nosferatu, quite clearly from his appearance. The other, Laurel Goodman, well-known Ordo Dracul neonate of the diplomatic wing of the sect, and a rather wealthy businesswoman herself, who shows up in a very striking dress. Next is a very large man, his size perhaps only matched by the magnificent girth of Phineas F. Goodwin. A venture by the name of Norman, who is known to own a winery in Soho. As a quick note before I move on, I'm putting all of these images in the What You See channel.
Is it weird to say I'd kill for his ring?
Honestly, I think his ring's the only good thing in the entire photo.
I think his rings would only fit him. I think they'd be necklaces for you.
Little torques for the upper arm, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. The another is another Invictus son by the name of Ash. Another young neonate. One of the Harpies, and a member of the Church of Longinus, Amber Brimo, who shows up in her own attire. She is very much in keeping with the theme of the event. Dressing in a silky high culture dress with that is keeps to some of the trappings of the pre-revolutionary era of France. Next is an elder of the sanctified and a deva by the name of Python, Primogen Python. Baron, or rather Primogen Waldemar Folks. There we go. He's all there at the bottom. And of course, Your Majesty's Matriarch of the Circle and Queen of London, Morgan. And Lord of the Invictus and King of London, Stanford. Both dressing quite regally for the evening. They enter together, but they are clearly here with their own separate entourages. There you go. That is not to say there are not many other there are not other kindred here. There are many, and many of note. You see, at least one of the other keepers is here. Coldmorn, you see, Starling is here. You see one of the other sheriffs, several archons, and several kindred of varying importance relative to their sect. Actually, something to note. There are 3 other kindred that I have neglected to mention. Perhaps not as of importance to the rest of the name, but very important to a certain someone here. And that is the arrival of 3 other kindred. Some of you might recognize them as Carthians. Rodney Foster, Charlie Hood, and a kindred I don't believe any of you have met before aside from one. And as such, she is not well known to you. But she comes dressed in a long coat, a white shirt and tie, and what appears to be a bowler hat. She looks like she's engaging in some very retro fashion, you might say. Or maybe she is just 70 years or so behind the times. You're not sure. There are many kindred here.
I will just say, Balthazar, the one thing he will ask you when you come in is he just asks you to sign in a guest book, just so he has a record of people who were here, so that people can't then claim, "Oh, I was here," and this. It's for his own edification and notes later on.
There is a stand with a little guest book.
Guest book. So when they're all gathered, Balthazar will walk out onto. There's basically in the section, the entrance hall to the. I actually checked it. It does have a stage. Fun fact. So he will walk out onto it before he will bow respectfully to the crowd, and he'll say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mesdames et Messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, welcome to the Ambassadors Club. Tonight, your hospitality is my pleasure. Whatever it is you require, I am sure that myself and my staff will be more than happy to accommodate you. I tend to like to run an honest house. So, as I've said, please make your needs known. Come to us with your desires, and we will see to it that we shall attempt to meet them. But remember an important clarification. Tonight, we are under the auspices of our most noble king and noble queen. No violence will be tolerated, and in this house, the rules of Elysium will be maintained. I ask you this respectfully, I ask you this politely, but I will warn you, I will only ask once. I thank you for your time, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening." Do you want me to roll social dice at that, or you just have me to say, "Don't fuck up"?
I'm happy for you to say, "Don't fuck up." Hopefully, no one will fuck up.
But yeah, he will then go under mingling.
Benjamin.
You're going to me.
There's a lovely old lady in a wheelchair
Yes, there is.
that is slowly being wheeled up to you by what appears to be a mortal. They certainly don't have a beast.
Hmm.
You think they're probably a ghoul.
Figures.
It's just a young man in a suit. Appears to be dressed for the occasion, although he's dressed relatively plainly. As is the Primogen.
It's a pleasure to see you, Bishop. Again. They'll sort of take a curt nod, sort of into a bowish sort of deal.
Likewise, Mr. Smith. It looks like you're going to be quite busy this evening.
Yeah, there isn't a night where I'm not quite busy. Suppose I never get a break. He'll smile.
I wish I could tell you it gets easier with age, but she trails off, simply leaving
Yeah.
with the silence. I believe I am every indication is to the opposite.
Yes, if my experience around most kindred were to give me an inclination, that would be the inclination I would have gotten.
Do keep an ear out, though. I do intend to put on a little bit of a display this evening.
Oh, I did hear a thing or two about that. He'll smile, smile, widens a little bit. I'm sure it will go well.
If nothing else, I'm sure I'll leave an impression.
Of course. You always do.
And of course, I have you to thank for it, Mr. Smith.
It's no problem. I'm always somebody who likes to look out for the little guy, so it really is of no problem. No issue of mine. It's not an issue to do it. God, what is...
She'll pat you on the shoulder. She'll sort of like just a lurch forward a little bit, but she's sort of sat quite far back into her chair. She'll pat you on the shoulder with her old withered hand. You notice something actually when she goes to do so. You see her patting your right shoulder with her left hand. You see that she doesn't appear to have her right hand.
Oh,
It's just missing.
interesting. He'll,
Well, I'm very, very grateful regardless, my dear.
again, it's a no. It was no problem.
It's very thoughtful of you to come.
It was happening. Yes. Regardless of if we were to reintegrate, it was about time the Carthians got out of the little shell they were put into. By themselves, rather.
Oh, don't tip your hand too soon, my dear. Remember where you are. You're playing with a lot of professionals here.
That is true.
You see, Rodney's ears perk up, and he sort of ends up shooting a look in your direction with a half frown.
He'll go quiet. I imagine I have to. There's other people I need to catch up with, but I do appreciate your time as always.
Anytime, my dear, anytime.
Yeah. He will sort of give another little bow to Primitive Python and head to Foster.
As it happens, Chris, I also was just about to beeline for Rodney Foster because I have to tell him.
Yeah, Rodney is with Charlie. Charlie is well dressed, but not overwhelmingly so. She's sort of taking a more subdued look, letting the Deva and the Invictus show off. She appears to be quite content to remain in the background. And she looks quite small compared to Rodney's large height and broad build. But yeah, he'll see you heading his way, and he'll say, "So, do I even call you Keeper for tonight? Has there even been a transfer of titles, or is it just a thing? Is it like an in effect thing or not? I don't really know. This seems more like a city thing, where it's like not really clear what the formalities of it are."
For tonight, Keeper is quite appropriate. Tomorrow we shall see.
Alright, fair enough.
I have taken the liberty. He kind of nods. He politely bows, like one of those little kind of "I'm a servant" kind of bows. When Ben approaches, so Ben, you get a little bow. He will say, "I've taken the liberty of having the Juliet suite upstairs and its conference room made available, as I'm led to understand that you will require it for some confidential discussions later on. When it is you wish it opens, just let me know."
think that will be more up to the boss man and the boss lady than it will be me. But if I do need to force the issue, I'll let you know.
Merely a point of polite. Actually, he won't stop, but he'll say, what would be the correct word? Yeah, merely a point of polite conveyance in order to let both parties understand that the room has been made ready for their use.
I appreciate it. Better than us having, a shouting match in the open. God knows what the crowd would descend into then, right? Actually, I don't. Just descend into a riot always bloody does.
He looks Rodney up and down before he'll say, I'm sure, Mr. Foster, that you are a man of eloquence. I shall hope that there will be no need for any clashes in my fine establishment.
Well, I mean, I don't really have anything against your finest hour, so unless I'm given one, but I mean, I think we're good, right?
Quite so.
Yeah, there you go. We're all friends here. I mean, we're as close as, we can be to friends. In this moment. In this finest hour.
If I may ask, sir, whom is to accompany you upstairs? For my own edification and notes.
Him and her. He just points to Charlie, Benjamin, and the lady in the bowler hat, who appears to just be making introductions.
Oh, Ben, are you not going upstairs? Okay.
But Ben should be going upstairs, right?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he said him.
When you said somebody else, my apologies. My brain said that so hard. Very well, sir. I will have it. I will have all these names added to the list. A pleasure to see you again, Mr. Smith. You're looking quite well.
Thank you. Ben's in a plain suit. It's the only thing noteworthy about it is that it's like a blue dress shirt with sort of white dots on it. But the rest is just straight black.
What he does is he reaches into his pocket, and you see him remove 3 small golden. They almost look like golden coins. Before he holds them out to Rodney, just kind of in his hand.
Ben will extend a hand slowly.
These are just invitations to our taste. Please. He will give you 3 coins. You should come and enjoy. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and see to my other guests.
Thank you.
Once again, very polite little service bow, and he will turn and walk away.
That could have gone worse.
Yeah. So, how are you holding up?
Not well, I have to be here, and I have to have a meeting. That's some big shit I'd rather not be involved in. But, hey ho. It'll all be over soon, one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah.
Phineas.
Mm-hmm.
A man equaling your girth is going to make his way up to you. In big bounding steps that really the entire room notices. Everybody notices Goodwin and Norman. They are men of great density.
As is traditional, Phineas will engage his fellow big man in big conversation. Norman!
Phineas! He's gonna give
Extends.
you, with big man engaging in big conversation. You're gonna get engaged with a big hug.
Hell yeah. Big
This
handshake.
is the whatchamacallit, Stig and Armstrong in Full Metal Alchemist, and you can't convince me it's not.
Basically.
You're pretty sure everybody who witnesses the handshake is pretty sure it could topple a mountain? Like, you're pretty sure you can feel the handshake from where you're standing.
It's a strong handshake. And then there's a mass hilarious handshake. How are you doing, good sir? Hope you're enjoying the festivities tonight.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Although I'm not sure about tasting my own cooking like this, but if it's good food, it's good food.
Quite right, quite right.
How goes your little project? I heard you were still working on getting your little venue sorted out.
Yes, I have the actual location for it. It's more a matter of ensuring security with with all the recent issues and getting some other things set up for it.
Yes, you have the money now, don't you?
I do, yes.
Surely good security. Well, he stops himself. Well, given recent events, I think I'm going to retract that statement before I decide to tempt fate any further.
Quite so. I'd hate for it to be interrupted by unwelcome guests.
Indeed. Well, I am good. I am very happy to hear that you're putting the time and effort into ensuring proper security for the event. It'd be terrible if it were to wind up like so many other kindred in this domain.
Small. Start good.
Given recent events.
Indeed. Hopefully soon, but
If anything, if there's anything we have, it is time. It's
not wrong at all. Not wrong.
the one resource.
Is there anything
Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
The one resource we have the most of, yet is still the most valuable of them all.
It's strange sometimes. Even we with such a wealth of time find horrendous ways to misuse it.
Yes, while I am a firm believer in enjoying one's life to the fullest, I do find that many of us do tend to waste the years we have on hand, engaging in all manner of little atrocities. It's so much better spent building towards something. Like yourself.
Quite so. Quite so.
Actually,
So, Mr. Norman, is there... Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of that, something you've been working on, I'd be quite happy to offer some of my own vessels towards the event once this one is over in the near future.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you. What could I do to make it up to you?
Oh, nothing more than a front row seat. And then he'll lean in.
Phineas will also lean in. private big boy.
Although some charitable odds on the event would be appreciated.
Phineas just kind of leans in as well. He smiles and says, "I think that can be arranged, sir. I'll provide a +1 for your assistant as well."
Oh, excellent. She is delightful.
Indeed.
You're gonna make me go back and look up her name, aren't you?
I mean, you could just BS another name. My Lord knows I don't even remember it.
Just churning through PAs.
They all happen to look exactly the same.
She's a good PA, goddammit.
Mr. Norman, is there anything I can do for you this evening?
Nothing else. I'm just here to enjoy the evening. I hear there's going to be a performance on soon.
Yes, I believe Mr. Coldmorn was saying something about that. I'm sure it will be a wonderful show for all of us.
I'm curious to see what's on offer. Although I should probably, I'd like to go and play some cards. After all, we are in a casino.
Indeed. I think I'll join you if you don't mind.
Kingston.
Hello.
You? Well, actually, first, what are you doing?
Mostly just
I'm sorry.
mostly just a bit of polite conversation. Shaking hands, meeting new people, you know. Coming into a new place like this. Be polite.
You seek to introduce yourself to the king and the queen?
Yes.
Do you want an introduction, dear doctor?
Yes, I would love it. Dr. Kingston, pleasure.
A doctor of...
Robotics.
Blink. Fascinating. A pleasure to meet you, Doctor. I saw that you were, shall we say, eyeing... or I take it that you're new, in desperate need of an introduction.
Right.
Well, since I was just moseying that way, would you like me to introduce you?
That would be much appreciated, sir.
Not a problem. And you are a member of Clan...
Venture.
Ah, wonderful. This should smooth matters rather than... Now then. Chris, where have the king and queen just kind of like set up camp?
Wherever your best table is. I assume you've reserved the space for them specifically, being the magnanimous keeper that you are.
So what he's going to have done is he's going to have set up on the balcony, because there's a balcony that overlooks the stage. I've like got picked place. He's going to have it all cleared out. There's going to be a single long table with the finest wine set there, and exactly 2 chairs. They can have more chairs brought up if they want anyone to actually sit with them. But as it stands, there are 2 chairs, and that gives them a commanding view of everything. That means people have to go up to them, aka go up the stairs and be allowed up, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So Balthazar will drape his arm around your shoulder, Comping, and he will walk you upstairs. kind of smiling at the prince, the queen, and the king's no doubt formidable security as he.
Quite a wonderful event you hosted.
Thank you. You know, no expense was spared. The caviar alone, I tell you. Well, I could tell you stories about the old days back in World War One when we tried to get caviar from the Russians. I wouldn't want to bore you.
I am curious. What firewall software are you running on your servers?
Error 404, Coldmorn not found. He just kind of looks at you like, you just said words at me.
I assume this place has cameras, correct?
Correct.
What have you done to secure the cameras?
You'd have to ask my head of operations. I have no idea.
I'll be sure to do that.
If you like. So he steps out, and what he does is Balthazar will bow, very keeping Dr. Kingston in the stairwell. So basically, he'll bow very politely until the king or queen acknowledge him to straighten himself.
King will motion for you to rise.
Your Majesty. But two small, minor observations for your perusal. I have taken the liberty of having the Juliet suite made available for your discussions with Councilman Foster and his collection. It is available at your request. Just inform me when it is you want it opened up, and I will see to it myself. To quote Councilman Foster, at least we won't have a screaming match.
That sounds like him. I appreciate it, Coldmorn. Good on a pleasant event so far. I'm curious to see where it goes.
Thank you. And there is another matter for your Highness's collective perusal. A new kindred has arrived and wishes to present themselves. They're waiting outside.
The Queen will look up with you of her deep golden eyes and say, "Oh, I see. Well, bring him up then."
As you like, Your Majesty.
She smiles like a shark.
Oh, no. Coldmorn opens the door and basically, once again, puts his hand on Kingston's shoulder as he leads him into the feeding zone.
Her.
My apologies. Her into the feeding zone.
At both ends of the stairs, you have a mixture of the king and the queen's entourage. The king's entourage is conventional, if not seemingly very well trained and professional. They appear to be mortals with black jackets, security on the backs of the jackets, earpieces. They actually appear to have firearms on them. So they appear to come from a organization that is licensed to carry. Morgans appear more. They have the same professional getup, but appear more wild-eyed. Some of them have, you can see on the edges where their wrists meet the sleeves of their jackets, or their neck collars. They appear to have weird-looking tattoos on them. They appear to have an almost distant or primal expression to them. It's just ever so slightly distracting. It's something that you pick up on. They appear a bit more restless, slightly less disciplined than Stanford's entourage, his security force.
Now then, I'm going to bring you upstairs, and you're going to meet the king and the queen. I trust that you know how to behave in polite circles, my dear Dr. Kingston.
Yes, sir.
Good. And I'd recommend, though I understand your techno-babble is probably very dear to you, I recommend that perhaps easing off on it a tad. We wouldn't want to make anyone look foolish by lack of information, now would we?
Of course.
Good. And he will steer him upstairs.
She goes upstairs.
When you go upstairs, you see at the standing in front of you, two kindred. I've already put their face cams out, but I'll put them out again. King, a handsome man in a fine suit of ebony skin and a discerning gaze. He appears very an interesting mix of stoic yet somewhat suave, cool-headed. The other is Morgan, who is dressed in a gown fit for royalty, all black. Very prominent golden eyes. They don't look particularly, they only look vaguely natural. Her hair is an ash blonde. Her skin is very pale. There is a certain energy to her that as an Ordo you recognize. Almost like she's a walking, talking dragon's nest.
Noted. As soon as Dr. Kingston gets up the stairs, her head is bowed, and she kneels before the king.
Well, allow me to do the formal introduction. Yes. Your Majesties, Prince King Stanforth and Queen Morgan, allow me to introduce Dr. Kingston, also of the clan Ventrue.
Good evening. He motions for the good doctor to rise.
She does so.
It is a pleasure to meet a new kindred within the domain. There have been few that have undertaken the journey to London in recent nights. May I know why it is that you have done so?
As London is one of the greatest surveillance in the known world, I call progression. And perhaps help move it along slightly faster.
He raises an eyebrow. It is odd to hear a kindred state that they may benefit from additional surveillance and not less.
With more eyes, more knowledge can be acquired, my lord.
And how would you seek to use the surveillance state, as you call it, to your purposes?
To understand the flow of mortals and mortal society better, to advance kindred society in a direction that would be suitable for our continued existence, my lord.
I hope you understand that many kindred may not appreciate such insight into their lives.
Oh, I do not intend to gather insight onto kindred lives. I intend to gather insight onto mortal life so that we may better understand them.
I'll take a moment to gauge you. I am just going to ask you an out-of-character question real quick. Is the good doctor lying or misleading the king in any way?
No.
Okay. Normally, he says, as he sort of locks eye contact with you. I would dismiss these statements as the height of modern kindred hubris. However, given our current situation, you may yet find a place for you within, place for yourself within this domain.
Coldmorn will very politely cough, and he will say, Your Highness, addressing Stanforth, perhaps this individual might serve. Mr. Bagman is always in need of help and assistance in doing what it is that he does.
Bagman is very risk averse. It may take him some time to warm up to this individual if he decides to do so at all. If I decide to allow their continued presence. As he says this, the Queen has just sort of gotten up off her seat and has just sort of walked around you to the point where she's just standing behind Coldmorn and the good doctor.
I should point out what Coldmorn's been doing this whole time is he's physically walked around. So what he's doing is at the moment he's just seeing if any of he has a little notebook. He's refilling their wine glasses and he's just making notes on if any food needs restocking. So he's actually kind of working while he's doing this. You get me? He's not stocked still next to him. He's just, as I said, refilling wine glasses and making orders for new food.
What a diligent host. The Queen, or rather Kingston, you sort of feel an ice cold presence on your shoulder, but you very quickly recognizes the Queen's hand. She says, "Oh, my king, I do believe there is a place for this doctor within our domain. I believe they have a very important role to fulfill, not the one they might expect." but one nonetheless. She will sort of tug on your shoulder slightly so that she can get a good look at you. Kingston.
I follow her unspoken instruction without hesitation.
You seem like someone capable of a great deal of sacrifice.
Thank you, my queen.
It's not a compliment. It's just an observation. More of a trait than a quality.
Then I thank you for your cute eye.
You're welcome. If nothing else, it is a necessity. We wouldn't want you dying in your first year here.
No, ma'am.
No, we would not. She gives you a It's a smile that suggests she knows something, but you don't know what she seems to be suggesting. It's a smile that suggests something. Like it's a smile that suggests understanding. But she'll
Doc. You on?
she'll look at the king and she'll say, I would vouch for this one's presence. They have a purpose here. One that I believe will benefit all of us. You notice the king does not look particularly convinced. He was about to lower his eyebrow at your statements, then just raises it even higher at the queen's.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
The king is old, correct?
Roll me intelligence politics to see what information you find, or what you know about the king and the queen.
You got it. And when it says -3 unskilled, is there like a minimum you like at least get 1 dice, right?
So I assume you don't have politics.
I do not have politics.
Okay, what's your intelligence?
3.
Okay, so when you're reduced to 0 dice, you roll what's called a chance dice. Basically, it's a different sort of dice than a regular dice. A regular dice is an 8, 9, or a 10 is a success. For a chance dice, a 10 is the only number that is a success, and a 1 causes a dramatic failure. You can choose to spend willpower, which will give you +3 dice, so you'll be rolling a 3 dice if you spend willpower.
Will it still be a chance dice?
No, there'll be 3 regular dice, so much safer, and
right.
If you just roll a 1 and no successes, it won't be a dramatic failure.
I will be rolling I'll be spending a willpower and rolling 3 dice.
Excellent. Okay.
0 success.
Okay, then you don't know much about the king and the queen. They're reputed to be old, a bit more is known about Stanford than the Queen. The Queen is more or less a blank slate to you. You don't know much about her at all. Other than that, she is apparently old. You don't know how old, but people just assume she is. She's a queen slash prince. She's old, right? The king is known to be an elder. Although he has not been with the Invictus for very long. In fact, he's only joined up relatively recently, in kindred lengths of time at least. A couple of decades or so, you've heard. And he is known to be a venturer from a relatively prestigious line. Outside of that,
But I don't.
What's
I don't know his line. I'm going to assume.
No. Unfortunately, not.
Guess that is prestigious. All right.
Just that he comes from a line of prestigious reputation, but you didn't catch the name of the progenitor of the line or what particular line he descends from.
But he is an elder.
He is an elder. He's known to be quite powerful, and he's held the domain in a state of relative peace, alongside the Queen, Queen Morgan, for a period of 10 or so years now.
My prince, being a person of great age and greater wisdom, you recognize that society, at least mortal society, changes at a rapid rate. I understand that kindred society is ancient, and we are allowed to exist outside of mortal society by our own will and wishes. But we must understand that their action, their changes, have a change on the way we must behave in terms of gestures to the blood dolls. We're on a balcony, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We are in an age. Yeah, I just showed blood dolls. We are in an age of cell phones, cameras, and other such strange devices that baffle the mind. It is my attempt of understanding this and assisting in a integration, not of these devices, but of an understanding of these devices that I wish to produce for the good of the domain. And perhaps through this understanding of these devices, may we feed at greater lengths, greater time, without risk of record or endangering the out of character question. There is a masquerade. We call it the masquerade still,
Yes.
right?
3 traditions. The masquerade is the first tradition. You know what it is. Second tradition is basically check who you sire from, basically. It's the tradition of progeny. Sire another at the peril of both yourself and your progeny. If you create a child, the way it is your own to bear. So basically, don't embrace without permission, or don't embrace recklessly. And if you do, you owe your child some degree of accountancy or mentorship. The third tradition is Amaranth. You are forbidden from devouring the heart's blood of your kindred. If you violate this commandment, the beast calls your own blood. Probably the tradition that kindred enforce most rigorously. But yes, there is a masquerade. But those are the 3 traditions. There's only 3 in Requiem.
Yeah. Protect the masquerade in which we operate inside. We must understand how to combat threats to it, such as a cellular device or a camera. I intend to create solutions to the problem for our kind.
The Queen has sort of moved to your side, sort of tilted herself slightly to within the periphery of your vision, looking at you. With a great deal of amusement. The king gives you a more serious gaze. There may be value in this. As I've said, there'll be kindred who perhaps are taken aback at your inquiries and studies. I take it you descend from the Order.
Indeed, my lord.
Then I'm sure you're used to dealing with those who are taken aback.
Indeed, my lord. Many who fail to see the value of my research, but nevertheless, I will, Michael, allow it in your domain.
Then if you are willing to bear such a burden, I'd be willing to welcome you into this domain. However, unlike those of the dragon, I concern myself more with applicability than with theory. I would see these insights of yours and those you wish to glean put to use in service of the domain.
Thank you, my prince.
My subordinates will put me in touch with you.
I stand waiting to be dismissed.
The Queen will give a small golf clap that lasts a few seconds. Excellent. Excellent. I hope you enjoy your time here, good doctor. Try not to get too caught up in what's going on. There's a lot of us here.
She nods and bows.
Waters.
She nods and bows to the queen. Yes, my lady. Then she rises and bows to the king. I thank you for your hospitality, my lord.
You're very welcome. You may take your leave.
And she turns and departs.
Coldmorn, I assume you stay for a little bit.
Yeah, he's kind of just as I said. He's kind of basically shuttered himself to do the who has to meet with the royals. I have a clipboard.
And you catch the Queen going, I like her, she's curious. And the King going, she's naive, but we'll see if we can put it to use.
He won't respond. He's basically there to be a ghost, and you know that way that servants are, in the sense that they don't speak unless they're spoken to.
The King will turn to you. He'll say, thank you, Sir Coldmorn. Please don't feel the need to cater to our every need. You have many guests to attend to.
As you say, Your Highness. He kind of looks down at his watch, because I assume it's relatively early. Does Your Majesty? I wish to plan our evening's gala, which I have created rather with you in mind. Does Your Majesty have any idea when he wishes to speak to the Carthians?
How long is this Elysium continuing on for?
Is Elysium like? I know we're going to stretch it out over days, but is it just a night event, or am I hosting for multiple days?
You could probably host it for. It's your choice. You could host it for a night, or you could host it for the weekend. Kind of your choice, really.
I'd say we'll do it for the night, but we can stretch out that night if that makes sense. Because I like the idea of it all being self-contained. I like the idea of it being self-contained in a night, if you get what I mean.
Makes sense. And you have a lot of time. It is the middle of December in a city where night already falls very suspiciously quickly.
He'll nod his head. As you say, Your Majesty. With that, he will bow his way out of the room and walk downstairs.
All right. Those at the ground floor. So this will be something that Kingston hears and sees. She heads down the stairs, and the rest of you will overhear. Figment. The only one who won't is Figment, and I'll get to you in a moment.
Okay.
Okay. We're just going to kidnap Figment and put her in the basement for a little bit.
Damn it, this is why I don't leave the basement. I just came from the basement.
Now we're putting you back in it.
Only reason I came out was because my Wi-Fi went out.
Stay in your box, damn it.
Oh.
You don't have Wi-Fi in your basement.
I have to because I have a blog and a following of cottagecore lesbians. I need Wi-Fi.
Jesus Christ! Tara, you're a treasure.
This is why your blog is like every 2 months instead of like daily. This is like shitty stolen Wi-Fi in a basement.
Right? I'm definitely stealing it from the Starbucks.
Wi-Fi, I can help.
Oh my god, can you fix the Wi-Fi?
Yes. I can.
I like this guy.
I have a doctorate in robotics, but I have a minor in computer science.
I'm Figment.
Dr. Kingston.
I think poor old Chris was about to do something.
It's fine. Let them mingle.
I don't get that much.
So I don't think there would have been much really opportunity for us to meet until now.
Actually, you're Ordo, aren't you?
Indeed.
Okay. You may have seen her around. Like I said, she doesn't really leave her library / basement very often / graveyard.
Again, Dr. just arrived.
That's fair.
Well, congratulations, Dr. Kingston. You're not a smear on the rather beautiful Venetian marble.
Would have been a shame. Very nice marble.
It is, isn't it?
Indeed.
Ah, I see you've met Figment.
Indeed.
I think you're particularly going to enjoy this evening's entertainment, Miss Figment. I had Baron Eubanks set it up.
Really?
Yes.
Do I see more ghosts than usual kicking around here, Chris?
Where is the stage, Coldmorn?
It's in the main room.
Okay, are we in the main room right now?
Yes.
Okay. Figment, with your capacity to see into twilight, you do see some ghostly ephemera around the stage.
Do they seem chill?
Yes. It's only a single
They're just hanging.
individual.
Alright.
Well dressed in a it's what appears to be early 18th century outfit. And they appear to be doing some vocal exercises.
We'll wave at him.
The ghost. If this were a mortal, they would have coughed, distracted by an individual who can in fact see them. They give you a brief glance, kind of surprised that you bear witness to them at all. Everybody who's with Figment sees them waving into empty space in the general direction of the stage of the theatrical area of the main hall.
Balthazar will just say, "Now please don't ruin my surprise, Miss Figment."
Oh, interesting.
He smiles. But Dr. Kingston, allow me to introduce you to the likely faces. This rather gentle giant is Mr. Phineas Goodwin. Hang on, I'm just going to... There we go. This gentle giant is Mr. Phineas P. Goodwin.
Phineas F. Goodwin, Mr.
Oh, sorry,
Coldmorn.
Phineas F. Goodwin. He'll have said F.
Okay.
Just has no brain today.
Pleasure to meet you, sir. She bows at the waist.
Likewise, Dr. Kingston. I do hope you're enjoying the festivities tonight.
Indeed, I am.
What brings you to our domain, if you don't mind me asking?
Search on the surveillance state of London.
Interesting.
Mr. Goodwin, do you possess a phone?
Yes, I do. He pulls out, like... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. I want to know what he pulled.
He pulls out, like, a phone that's clearly designed for, like... It's one of those
Digital
very... Yeah, like, it's meant for like, problem situations where it might get dropped a lot or something. It's not, like, high-tech, like, super high-tech or anything.
It's like a Nokia.
Mr. Goodwin, how secure would you say your phone is?
I have no clue, honestly. I don't use it for much.
I want to look at the phone. Could I roll a intelligence computer check at it to determine whether or not it could be what's the word? It could be used as a listening device if the user was unaware.
Oh, pardon?
What?
Oh, what did you just say? Sorry.
I'd like to make an intelligence computer check to see if this phone could be used as a listening device without the user being aware.
Sure.
All right. Trying to remember my dots. Or could I use my
Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll let we'll let Kingston go first.
Could I use my like craft engineering specialty to determine like would crafts work or would computers be better?
If you're using, you could use crafts and then apply your engineering specialty if you wanted to. Yes.
All right, I will do that instead. Which means I'm rolling a total of 10 dice, because when you have a specialty, it's +1 or it's +2.
It's +1 dice.
All right, and with the with my area of expertise, that makes it +3. I'm pretty sure, right?
Well, a +3 for what? Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit for me.
Area of expertise allows me to, or if my specialty applies, it's a +3, I believe.
Double check. Area of expertise. I think it might just add an extra dice. Your character is uncommonly specialized in one area. Choose a specialty to assign to this merit. Forgo the +1 dice bonus afforded by a specialty in exchange for a +2 dice. So you just get +2 dice instead of +1.
Noted. All right, make that roll. It's 9 dice. 9 dice, 1 success.
Okay. Whose phone was this?
Phineas.
Phineas, what's your phone look like?
It's a piece of shit. It's like a very, like... It's one of those phones meant for high-stress situations.
It's like
essentially.
yeah, it's like the sort of phone you carry, like if you're hiking or something.
Yeah.
In theory, it could be. It doesn't really have the same. Those phones don't really have cameras in them. But
No,
but they could probably be turned into. They could probably be used as listening devices. You could definitely dress up a listening device as one of those phones.
Right, but I was wondering if it in its current state, if that is a phone that is unmodified, could it be bugged fairly easily? That's what my question.
It could be bugged, yeah. It could be bugged, with some degree of effort. I'd say you probably need to put in a bit more effort than a regular phone, just because it's not as commonly used. It's not as it's not as common an interface.
That is a fascinating, good one.
I have to purchase things for their durability rather than form or function.
Oh, on a side note, Eileen called me. Your chair will be here on Tuesday.
Oh, wonderful. I'm getting so tired of standing.
The chairmaker named Eileen?
No, Eileen's my secretary.
Mr. Goodwin, I have some skill in electronical manufacturing as well as engineering. If you require higher quality equipment that are still as durable as the device you hold right there, I'd be more than happy to provide in exchange for the resources to create such a device. You are Ventru, correct?
I am indeed.
Then I believe that you most likely have the resources to create those things.
We may be in touch later, Dr. Kingston. Thank you for the offer.
Miles.
Alley Cat and Percival.
Yes.
Oh. Would it be fair to say you've been having a conversation outside?
I think we were just having it in a corner somewhere within the Elysium.
Alright. Never mind then. Instead, you're here. In the middle of this conversation of yours. Someone going, "You cannot be serious." As you all look in a general direction, you see a very agitated Primogen folks standing in front of a seated Primogen python. As she simply says, "You know my terms, Primogen, and you know what you did. The choice is yours."
Python's the one in the chair because I've met them. Which one is Fox?
Fox, I'll put him in the chat for you real quick. He is an Invictus. An Invictus Primogen.
Balthazar is going to stroll over. You hear the tapping of his cane as he does so. "Gentlemen, ladies, is there some issue here?"
Oh, course not. I was in the line of my duties, unfortunately had to be the bearer of some bad news. You, Primogen, are attempting to extort me, and I'll claim your damn title for it. The Python will raise her hands lightly and will just say, there's no need for any such accusations, as I said. I am bearing you some bad news. The consequences of your own decisions, might I add. But certainly not extortion. Extortion would mean me threatening to claim your title. But inconvenient information that I may possess regarding your person. And unlike you, I have made no such threat. But as I said, I don't wish to provoke anyone within the boundaries of this domain, so if I may, I would take my leave if that's quite alright with you, Keeper.
Of course. He will bow very politely. He snaps his fingers for one of the servants to come and wheel her because it's more polite.
Oh no, she has a servant with her who's wheeling her around.
Okay.
He when you're around, he makes sure not to look. He keeps different look. You did see that when the other Primogen was Fox was yelling at her. His grip on the handles of the chair tightened considerably, although his expression remained the same, just soft and polite and simple smile. But, as he leaves, he'll just say, "Thank you, Keeper. Thank you." He'll wheel her away.
He smiles. He will then turn to Fox, and he will say, "Are you quite recovered, Primogen?"
He gives a forced breath, straightens up his tie, although it really was as straight as possibly could be already. He takes a moment. He actually does just stand in silence for a moment. He looks like he had a response and then lost it, almost as if he was going to say he was fine or the situation is under control, something akin to that effect. But then realizing it really isn't.
Question. Kindred drink, they can actually drink things and alcohol, right?
If you spend a vitae to trigger the Blush of Life, you are effectively mortal for the sake of consuming food and drink.
Has it seemed like he has activated his Blush of Life?
No, but his predatory aura is intense. He's definitely closer to frenzy than most kindred in the room.
Would offering him a drink be a bad idea? Or more accurately, would it be something that he could see as an being offensive, or
Just coming up and okay, cool. Are you finished?
Oh, almost, yeah.
Okay, what do you want
if
to
he's
do?
not activated his
Tonight?
blush.
Round 1, 4. Sunday.
Sorry for asking these questions. Just very new to this game.
Before you go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure? Is that okay?
No.
Oh, he just muted himself.
You can see about after that, about 11:15.
Okay.
Alright. Alright.
Sorry about that. Offering him a drink. You can roll me with socialize.
All right, fantastic. I will absolutely do that. With socialize, so that is right spot. I got 0 successes.
Could offer him a drink. Maybe. You're not sure what response it would get. You don't really know who this guy is, so you're not sure how socially acceptable it is to him.
Alright. Fuck it. Dr. Kingston has fetches a glass, or 2 glasses, and walks over. Oh, hello, sir. Would you like a drink?
Who are you, and do I look human to you?
No, but sometimes it's fun to pretend. My name is Dr. Kingston. Ventrue. Pleasure to meet you.
You were with the king and the queen just now, weren't you?
Indeed I was, sir. Recent arrival.
The technician, yes.
Indeed, sir.
Give me your phone number.
Of course. I produce a business card, my phone number on it.
Take it.
If one may ask, Primogen, what was all that about?
Someone who thinks she's smarter than she really is.
You see, I understand the vagary. However, I was actively offering you a semblance of assistance, and, well, that really answered no questions.
She thinks she can blackmail me. For actions undertaken by an organization that were neither organized nor related to myself. He's gonna roll fucking manipulation subterfuge.
He needs what from me or from us? Because there's a dice penalty, I believe.
That's true. Actually, I'll just have it be a
contested roll.
No, I'll just have it be a resisted roll for him. Yeah, -4 dice. His manipulation is quite high.
Oh, we're doing the roll. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That is.
You can roll as well.
Is that resolve?
Can anyone roll who's paying attention to the conversation?
If you would spying.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Why go to parties if you're not going to eavesdrop?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, constructing, yeah.
Phineas is too busy playing big boy cards with Norman.
It's just you two throwing the decks.
Yeah. There's other people at the table, but they can't get a word in because we're just being too loud.
Oh wait, there's
That's-
one extra dice in there. I had one extra dice, so I actually do get one success. Haha, funny.
Oh, it's
And,
fuck up the dice roll.
What is the pool? Don't mind me asking. Is it manipulation subterfuge as well, or is it something else?
The pool is wits empathy.
Wits empathy. -4 dice. You got it. At which case I will spend a willpower and just roll my 3.
Yeah, what's your wits empathy total without any
My wits
penalties?
empathy, without any penalties, is 2.
Okay, then you would only gain...
1 dice.
You would only have 1 regular dice. Yeah.
I just will make the roll.
Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Does acute senses count?
Yes.
Does trained observer count?
No, it's not wits plus composure.
Enough. That's the willpower.
That is 1 success. Interesting enough.
Oh,
Thank you.
Alright, so for those that succeeded, for those that succeeded, he's clearly not being fully honest. He probably has some relation to what he's being accused of.
and exactly, Primogen, what is it that you're being blackmailed for?
Not blackmailed, but an organization I'm related to undertook a series of actions which Python believes she can trace back to me. I didn't, but she believes that's how she can spin it. And that's really all that matters in this business.
Absolutely. No, you misunderstand me. I'm asking, what is she demanding for your silence, or is it just a matter of she's holding this over your head like the proverbial sword of Damocles?
A significant amount of prestation, a major boon.
And the answer is simple. You're Invictus, man. Have somebody throw down the glove. If you pay me a major boon, I'll quite happily go through her champion. When I'm not a keeper, of course.
The problem with that is that I'm not sure what would happen if she were to release the information she possessed.
Well, I might be new to the domain. But information is a bit of my specialty. If she were to release it, I would recommend sending out a way to clear your own name or your association with it. A supposed association with it. Documents are very, very, very easy to fake in the digital age. If you require my expertise, well, you have my card. I can.
Why I claimed it. I need some time. You give me 24 hours. I need to make some calls. If you need me. Coldmorn, you'll know how to get in touch with me. Kingston, I'll be in touch with you if I need you.
Pleasure to meet you.
As he turns away, Coldmorn will just say, I liked it in the old days. You called somebody out on the field of honor. You won a duel. Everything was better. Everything was better in the old days.
I'm sure it was, sir. But, of course, sometimes the old way. We are left with.
If anybody else wishes to mingle, I'll be happy to leave you for a little bit in order to do so and acquaint yourself with the new guests of the domain. And a character.
Of course. Miss Figman. Here she is. Appeared quite
Yes?
deftly. Oh, Miss Figman, who would you recommend meeting here? Before I've met her.
Oh, I'm a bad person to ask. To be
Right,
honest.
yes. Forgot about that.
There is a gentleman who I think that you simply must meet. I think that you two would get along like a proverbial house on fire. Possibly one that you set on fire, but that's neither here nor there. Completely not secretary.
Indeed. Who is it?
Chris, is my boy in the room?
He is not.
The one. He is not. He didn't come to my Elysium. I'm offended.
He might be here, but you certainly don't see him.
Listen, Bagman's got things to do.
He is the eternal Chad machine.
Yeah. Are you referring to this Bagman fellow you spoke of?
Yes, if he's not here. One moment. Balthazar basically goes to the front desk, like really quick, just takes like a couple of steps over, presses the intercom system. If Mr. Bagman is currently in the building, if you could please report downstairs. It is worth a trivial boon. Please report to the reception desk, Mr. Bagman. Waits for approximately 30 seconds.
See, if you had better Wi-Fi, you could just, text him.
We're not allowed to text each other anymore.
Did you guys have a fight?
These days, dear.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, what you see.
But wait. Are you saying texting is less secure than making an announcement over a loudspeaker that literally everybody could hear?
Yes.
Apparently.
Okay.
I'm inclined to agree.
But, guys, what you see is a scruffy-looking individual in a long coat with a jumper underneath, a balaclava covering half of his face, and a baseball cap. Just popping into existence. Directly behind Figment, because why not?
Yeah.
And I'll put space claim in the chat. There you go. Stop.
I take it you're Mr. Bagman.
The very one.
If I...
Yes.
Ooh, I actually have an important question, Chris, because I would have spent because obviously we didn't get time to do it before the scene, which we were going to do. Did I get booped on the head for my notary job?
Not yet, no.
Okay. Continue.
Vi will look towards Bagman and say yes.
What you been up to?
Mostly focusing on research. Yourself.
Alright, that sounds good. That's fine.
Violet just raised an eyebrow.
It will make me quick. Just wits composure or wits empathy, whichever makes more sense for you.
Oh, he's definitely noticed a change, hasn't he?
Just roll it.
Is this everyone or just Bagman?
Just Bagman.
Or
oh, just sorry, just Vi.
okay.
Serious successes. God damn it.
All you know is that it's weird. That Bagman, given his reputation, would ask you what you've been up to, as if he didn't know. That's
Violet
a weird
absolutely
question to ask.
this idiot for too long.
That's fine. I get it. Anyway.
Vi just we'll talk later.
Yes. He very casually clicks his fingers towards Dr. Kingston. They're the ones who are going to owe you the trivial boon.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Bagman. I'm Dr. Kingston. I bow, actually. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking of yeah, Dr. Kingston bows. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
You're like one of half a dozen people that actually does that. Neat.
Out of character. What did he just say?
He said you're like one of half a dozen people that actually does that. Neat.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Balthazar said we would get along swimmingly. I assume you have skill with technology as well?
Yeah. You're a tech head that wants to take over London surveillance state. That's a goal.
Well, not necessarily take over, but monitor.
I mean,
very least.
That's literally just a way of saying the same thing.
I would disagree. Controlling it would be a bit of a hassle. I'd prefer just having the mortals do it for me.
Yeah, we'll do that. Anyway. I wouldn't... Okay. He kind of raises his finger and then keeps putting it down as if he's like cycling through the motion, as if he's like trying to think of something to say. We'll talk about that later. Like, that's it.
I'm going to assume
multiple plates here with you.
Of course, I understand.
All right. You will. Anyway. Yeah, we'll get along swimmingly, kinda. I deal in tech. I deal in information. I run. The only actually secure online board in the domain.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to assume it's a subscription fee.
Oh, no, it's not subscription free. I get to decide. It's not something you buy your way into.
Oh, that's. quite interesting. I would have monetized it personally.
Oh, hell no. No. Why
Well,
would I do that?
money. But that's just me, the venture speaking in me.
Yeah. To me, information exclusivity is more valuable than money. Secrecy is more valuable than money, you know? Personally.
Oh, absolutely. But some people value money and privacy at fairly equal amounts, and, well... And some are too stupid. And the difference between money that will buy you privacy, and privacy that will buy you money.
Money is easy to come by after a certain point, really.
I assume it gets easier when you get older.
It's not even that. Once you establish a pattern that's reliable, it becomes simple. And we don't really have the same expenses models have.
Indeed.
It's really the setup that's the hard part, getting a secure account, finding a way to keep it all above board or discreet. In this day and age, it can be difficult.
Incredibly.
But that's what the venture are for. And Invictus. Or me.
Indeed. Or you.
Or Folks. He's pretty good about that.
Noted. Could I ask your clan, sir?
Yeah, I'm a maquette.
I'm a cat.
Oh, just so you should know, given your profession, online communication regarding kindred stuff is currently a no-go right now. Just so you don't get your head cut off in the first night here.
Of course, I make it a point not to learn the trends regarding technology in the domain before I arrive. I do not use electronic communications to discuss kindred business for in person. Less ears.
Yeah. Surveillance state and all that.
Indeed.
Masquerade, keyword, buzzword.
That gets trending on Twitter. Ugh, we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah. Well, it's not that. Twitter's a shit show. You can put anything on Twitter. But also Twitter is a shit show, and you don't want to be putting shit up on there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't even touch any of the stuff anyway, either.
That's alright. Is there anything you needed before? Anything you wanted to ask me? I'm there because I'm being paid to now, so...
Yeah, could I get your phone, or not your phone number? I get at least a number, contact you in case you want to talk. Just talk shop, maybe.
It's okay, I got all of your contact information.
Of course, yeah. I haven't been especially private about the public stuff at the very least.
Sure, yeah, it's the public stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is the public stuff. Or you just found the back door.
Alright. Oh, that's it. I'm gonna disappear again and be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for this Elysium, as I've always been.
Good evening.
I'll see you later, Doctor. And he'll disappear into the shadow.
Well, he was exceedingly pleasant, Mr. Coldmorn. Thank you for that introduction. I'll owe you a trivial boon for that.
I tell you what, no need for a boon. You've recently just arrived, and it seems that you're the hot commodity. And also, we're dealing with a group of very, very, very tech-savvy individuals, which is something I'm not. Do you want a job, Doctor?
Of course.
Well, how to best phrase it? If you want to take up the new head of cybersecurity and surveillance monitoring for my, wonderful business here, I'll see to it that you're well paid, and you can do freelance work for whoever needs it. Deal?
That sounds excellent. Thank you, sir.
I'll have the proper contract drawn up in the morning. All must be above board, after all.
Indeed.
Alright.
Oh, by the way, it was Dr. Kingston, wasn't it?
Yes.
Dr. Violet Delta. A pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Could I ask what your doctorate's in?
What was that? Sorry.
Could I ask what your doctorate is in?
I'm a geneticist, as well as a, engineer.
Chemical biology.
Dr. Deltar, I had a proposal for you.
What might be the issue, Mr. Coldmorn?
Recently, as I'm sure you're aware, there are a number of people who are operating in the city.
Sorry, you glitched out for a second. Come again?
Oh, I'm sure you understand that there are a number of hunters currently operating in the city.
I believe I have heard rumors of such, but my primary area of study has been involved in another area. Yes.
Well, needless to say, we've managed to track the fact that these hunters are using incredibly sophisticated technology, even down to including biomedical implants beneath the skin. Fascinating, I'm sure you'll agree.
You just kind of see, like, Violet's eyes, like, turn a little bit more, like, her expression turns a little bit more curious, and she just kind of raises an eyebrow, and that is some especially advanced technology, especially for what I know.
What was the name of the organization, Chris, that I linked it back to, the group who we bought like a bazillion shares in?
You suspect. I don't believe you have any evidence that it's this organization at all, but you suspect it's Chiron.
Yes. We bought a number of shares. As a matter of fact, a rather huge amount in Chiron Group, making me, not near the majority shareholder, an important business, an important interest in Chiron. I now own an important stake in Chiron Group due to a financial purchase via my sect. To this end, I will be taking a tour of Chiron Group and its medical facilities. That is what they produce, pharmaceuticals, biomedical technology, etc. This is mostly Greek to me. However, I wished a pair of eyes that might be more suited to the task, and I wondered if you'd care to accompany me.
I make a pointed
Violet will
Hang on, Violet, go.
Violet will nod and a minor bone, and I am available.
The safety of the domain, and you're not.
Violet just raises an eyebrow, just every kindred works for a price, Mr. Coldmorn.
I like them. In my era, we call it moxie. I'm not sure what we call it now. Anyway.
I
Done.
believe the word is sass, but I'm not terribly certain. By the way, Balthazar, I have to speak
I
with you in a
prefer
moment.
chutzpah, but
Sorry.
Chutzpah as well, yes.
Sorry, I just got horribly confused. You had to speak to me. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, just when you have the time. Like, it's no problem. Just when you're done, just let me know.
But Miss Deltar, a minor boon from me to you is granted. I will look forward to taking you with me on this little escapade.
Violet will give a short nod before she'll add, with a rather like neutral expression, just, also, by the way, this is a doctor, not miss.
Technically, tonight I'm Keeper Coldmorn, if you want to be technical, but we're all friends here, Nick. But, very well. Dr. Deltar.
Violet will give a nod before she'll disappear into the shadows, because, Bean gotta go noom. But, okay if I note that down?
Yeah.
And I think we'll finish with whatever Natalia wished to discuss with Coldmorn.
Yeah. Is now a good time?
Yes, what is it I can do for you, Miss Natalia? Oh, is this in relation to our mutual friend? Yes.
Yeah, the thing with the talking. Or did you have a look at that thing yet?
I haven't had the time. I've been organising the Elysium. I was going to look into it tomorrow or the day after. Any developments?
Oh, but it's looking good. I'm pretty certain I can have the rollout in a day or two. For, well, having total cover, so to say, with the thing we talked about. Just look into exactly. I mean, I heard a little bit about what you said about hunters being active. I don't think it's related, but we can never truly tell.
I don't believe it is, considering this group's particular modus operandi has been more a sledgehammer than a scalpel. But, no, I don't think the two are connected.
Oh, and hey, Doc, she just waves to Dr. Kingston.
pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. So in a day tomorrow, after tomorrow, maybe. Got it. Yeah. I have a thing, and she just points in a random direction. I have a thing I need to do and stuff. I'll talk to you later. And she begins to move off.
Alright.
Natalia.
Oh, hey, Ben. How you going?
Oh, hi, Natalia.
I believe it's time for your performance.
Ah! So Coldmorn will say, Miss Natalia, before you leave, we have a spectacle I think you'll enjoy.
All right.
If you'll excuse me, Balthazar will walk out back into the main room, and he will walk onto the stage, and he will say,
I'm not going to like this, am I?
Actually, it's quite cool, or at least I think it's cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Madame de Monsieur, if you would please take your seats. We have an entertainment tonight. He will take a moment as, the lights dim and the light, a spotlight will just shine down on him, before he will say, time, I feel, makes a mockery of many of us because we have so much of it. It is important, I feel, in order to stretch back our hand to the time of our own youth, to remember who we were when we still took breath. It allows us more so to cling to that nature of what makes us inherently human. Because our humanity is at our driving core, or for many of us, it should be. With that, Madame de Monsieur, I give you a breath from the long, distant past that some may find familiar, and I wish you to enjoy a single moment of a long-forgotten era. And he will raise his hands, and he will clap twice.
As you clap, the lights will dim. A modest orchestra will form around the stage. And from a spontaneous it's almost as if like mist emerges from the earth, swirling at the center of the stage is a man who looks out of his own time, emerges from it. And as the strings begin to play, you'll begin to sing one of the most beautiful arias you have ever heard, the most mournful dirge. Just before we end the scene, would everybody like to make me a whisper socialize roll to know what's really going on as the music is played?
Do I have to roll this, or do I just know this?
Well, you know what that is, but talking about war.
There's a cute
The
sense of
performance may
surprise.
be great, but it's not what people are here for. Who is sat with whom, and who is talking with whom, and what are they discussing?
Fuck.
Is some sick rolling, Dr. Kingston.
Yeah.
You had an exploding dice that exploded, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
That's
You rolled again.
pretty good. Chris, is my specialty in fitting and apply?
Yes.
Oh shit, I wasn't expecting it to. Nice. I'm also going to spend a willpower.
That 5 successes is incredible.
I know. What the fuck does that do?
I only got 3. Oof.
Okay.
As for your question, Dr. Kingston is sitting with me.
So, those of one success. You see that Stanford has sat with the seneschal, and they appear to be discussing in hushed tones the Carthian reintegration. And he seems to be inclined to give a charitable offer. But it's never discussed as to why. Those are 2 successes. You can see that Folks is on his phone, only partially engaging in his performance. Harried, you know that he's a very prudent businessman. For him to be this stressed out would imply that something very real is threatening the institutions under his sway. In fact, 2 successes, you're aware that he runs a banking firm called Millennium Finance. You have to wonder how badly compromised it must be for him to be this, for him to be this panicked. Successes. You see these 2 individuals. One second. Let me just get them on what you see. You see Laurel Goodman and Nina Fidiordo, and one of their diplomats. Fester Marfield, child of Baron Eubanks, a son Giovanni. Discussing the possibilities of a partnership. Those are 5 successes. I will write you up a blue book because you have obtained some very, very insightful information that I'll need to spend a bit more time elaborating on for you. And that is where we shall end the scene. Do you have anything left to remark? Is that Coldmorn? A member of the security has reported a suitcase being left outside of the front entrance of your establishment.
Fascinating.
And that is where we shall end the scene. Thank you, Percival. Thank you for just watching. See you all next time. Bye-bye.